to get to today as we get you ready for the rest of Week 3. And the latest on Jordan Love, he returned to practice Wednesday, just 12 days after spraining his MCL late in the Packers' Week 1 loss to the Eagles. Love practiced on a limited basis the last 2 days, left the possibility open to returning this week against Tennessee. And here's Packers head coach Matt LaFleur earlier this afternoon on his status.
I think there's definitely a lot that's up to him. I mean, you don't want to put somebody in that position, but certainly he's doing everything in his power. He wants to be out there more than anybody. So, but, you know, we'll work through it. We'll give it up till game time, and we'll see where we're at.
So, Dan, Jordan Love still questionable. What would you need to see out of him to make you feel okay about putting him out there in this game?
Yeah, I highly doubt he plays in this football game, and he's got to get medically cleared first. So in the world that he gets medically cleared and hypothetically, 1, does he look like himself in practice? 2, can he operate the way that he wants to operate? Remember, he's not a statue within the pocket. He likes to move around and create space within the pocket. And then really 3rd is, can he protect himself? Can he make sure that if there is some type of pressure issue that he's not just sitting there as a statue or a sitting duck and in danger? All 3 of those things have to happen, plus being medically cleared before Matt LaFleur is even going to think about playing Jordan Love. Again, I think it's doubtful that he plays, but if he gets medically cleared and he sees that stuff, he's going to be out there.
Dio, I agree with you. Listen, sometimes it's not about him being okay to play. It's about who you're playing against and whether you want to rush it or not. And this is not a defensive front that I would be getting after to try to get back while you're unhealthy, especially with Jeffrey Simmons in the center of that pocket, T'Vondre Sweat, the rookie, but Harold Landry as well. These guys can absolutely get after the passer. I think of it always from that context. If you want to put a hampered guy out there, you got to be willing to deal with the potential of not, I'm not talking about an injury being catastrophic, but just him and his immobility creating a lot of problems for you offensively. And I think for Jordan Love too. Like, you got to take a long game picture. This dude got paid in the offseason. Obviously, he's dealing with an MCL. But more importantly, you're a good enough team in the NFC to get into the playoffs and actually have a chance. You don't want to extend this further where you're looking down the road and saying, maybe if we would have kept him out one game, we would have won 2 or 3 later on down the road.
Hey, after a quiet debut in Week 1 for Marvin Harrison Jr., he lit up the stat sheet in the Cardinals' blowout Week 2 win over the Rams. Harrison and Kyler Murray is showing early signs of a great connection as they look to keep it rolling against the Detroit Lions this week. Here's Dan Campbell on this week's matchup in Arizona.
It's been a good week. We understand the challenge in front of us, and we've had a good week thus far, so finish it out strong today. I know us as coaches, but the players too. You could feel the urgency just in the walkthrough we just did. And, you know, I think all of us want to, you know, spit that bad taste out of our mouth. So this is step 1 to get it done.
All right, so Campbell's trying to spit the bad taste out of his mouth. Dan, what do you want to see out of these Lions after struggling last week?
The pass game in the red zone has got to get better. When you're trying to figure out, okay, what are these teams, and specifically the Lions, doing a good job at? Play action's been fine. I think they got to get Amon-Ra going a little bit more consistently-wise. But in the red zone, pass game-wise, Jared Goff struggling. There seems to be a disconnect between some of the stuff he's looking at and guys expecting the football. He's missing throws. The yards per attempt is way down. And they're not even trying to push the ball into the end zone. It's so often, which is abnormal for this football team. They're a run-centric, play-action-centric offense. And they got good pieces on the outside. And so much of their red zone offense feels like it's capped at like 5 yards. This is something that hopefully this weekend progresses, not only because they got to win this game, obviously, but really for the future, because this offense has been great up until the point of the red zone, and then it falls flat on its face when it comes to throwing the football.
I mean, Arizona's offense was exciting to watch. How do you expect them to attack this Lions defense?
Yeah, Dan and I have talked this week about Arizona's 13 personnel, meaning 3 tight ends on the field, and how they use that to hunt mismatches and create explosives. I expect more of that against a Lions defense that almost exclusively matches 13 personnel with their base defense, meaning 3 linebackers on the field. Alex Anzalone is injured even if he plays. Jack Campbell has struggled in coverage. If I'm the Cardinals offensive coordinator, Drew Petzing, I am drawing a giant circle around those players. Expect to see a fair amount of under center play action and a big day for Trey McBride, their star tight end.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jared Goff has actually won 8 straight games versus the Cardinals. That's tied for the second longest active streak for any opponent. Let's see our game picks. See who everybody's picking here. We're kind of split across the board, I believe. We've got picks there for Marcus, Dan, and Mina for the Lions. Mina and I, Ryan and I are on the Cardinals. Excuse me. So at least we're covered all the way across the board there.
Field goal. This is going to be a good game.
It's a good game.
It's going to be a really good game. Let's go to the Bears and Colts. This year's #1 overall pick, Caleb Williams, has struggled. The Bears are off to a 1-1 start to the season. Caleb looking very much like a rookie in his first 2 career games in the NFL. And Williams looking to find his groove this week, taking on Anthony Richardson and the Colts in Indy. Time for a same-game parlay presented by ESPN Bet. We'll check out some of the props heading into this Bears-Colts matchup, and we bring Mina in for this. Mina, will Caleb Williams have over or under 215.5 passing yards?
I'm going over, which is much needed, obviously, for Caleb Williams, given his struggles. For me, this is about the matchup. The Bears' interior offensive line has struggled a lot, but the Colts don't have DeForest Buckner. Of the last 8 quarterbacks they've faced, 6 have gone over this figure, and I think Caleb Williams does the same.
Will Jonathan Taylor score a touchdown?
I'm saying yeah. I mean, he did so in 7 straight games before last week. I do think the Colts struggle to move the ball on a very good Bears defense, but if they do get to the red zone, low red zone, I expect Jonathan Taylor to punch it in.
Will Anthony Richardson have over under 42.5 rushing yards?
Again, despite my concerns about this offensive matchup, I am still going over, largely because, 1, it's Anthony Richardson, and he's obviously a great running quarterback. 2, I think a lot of this is going to be born out of desperation. I think they're going to see a heavy dose of design runs, a lot of scrambles, and even if they don't score a lot of points, Anthony Richardson, I believe, should be able to top this figure on the ground.
It's a matchup between the youngest quarterbacks in the league, with Anthony Richardson actually being the youngest. So that factors in, too, when you look at this quarterback play. A lot of talent there. Week 3 is heating up as Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs look to get 3-0 as they take on the Falcons. Both teams coming from behind to win late in Week 2. Atlanta looking to prove their offseason hype is no joke, with the defending champions in town on Sunday night. And Patrick Mahomes will make his 99th career start Sunday night. His 76 wins are tied with Tom Brady and Roger Staubach for the most in quarterbacks' first 100 starts since 1950. Mahomes has won 13 of his last 16 road games, including playoffs, and will play in Atlanta for the first time in his career. Mina, Mahomes is clearly a winner, as we all know. How can the Falcons have a chance in this game to keep it tight?
I'm so lucky I get to go first, because apparently we all had the same thought we just found out, which is under center, play action, heavy dose of Bijan Robinson outside zone.
She's a genius.
It worked last week, but I'll go first. The reason I think particularly against this Chiefs defense is, I'm telling you, if you just put Kirk back there in the gun and ask him to spray it, the Chiefs will win, and they will be able to create a ton of pressure with Chris Jones on that interior. You need to do everything possible to slow that pass rush. And I will say, the Chiefs defense is very good. I think they are actually still vulnerable to under center runs and play action. So I expect to see a lot of that again from the Atlanta Falcons.
Yeah, and I think what Mina is saying, that sort of game plan, it allows Kirk to get into the flow of the football game. When you look at last week, it started early, or the first week of the season, it started early with the PBU by Dante Jackson, because they were forcing Kirk to throw into bad coverage. They couldn't push people off the line of scrimmage. Now with Bijan Robinson, the ability to create the explosive play in the run, maybe that changes some of the pressure packages by Steve Spagnuolo to run blitzes, where Kirk Cousins can get play action passes and have some time. Marcus has said time and time again, Chris Jones wrecks plays. He's like Godzilla. He destroys cities. And so if he's going to do that, attack him with Bijan Robinson, move the pocket with Kirk Cousins, and I think you have a better chance to win playing that way than you do the way this season started against the Steelers.
Y'all, we try to deduce this information. Mina, you're right. We all in the same vein, because that's the reality, right? One thing I was thinking about, I went back and watched 4 of the Chiefs games between yesterday and today. And the thing that I realized, and I don't know if y'all gonna agree with me, it feels like the games go so long. like forever. There's always an opportunity late in those games for the Kansas City Chiefs to make a play. It's like extra time gets added for some reason. Like it was just an overall occurring theme. You down to San Francisco in the Super Bowl. It felt like the game went for 17 hours. Like until the Chiefs get the lead, the game is not going to be over. It's about shortening the game, and you do that with the run, and obviously that is the strong suit of what we see the Atlanta Falcons being right now with a dynamic back in Bijan, but also Algier. And I believe it's about having that 1-2 combo that's going to pay huge dividends for them if they have an opportunity to create a win. RC alluded to it. You do not beat the Kansas City Chiefs without explosive plays. But coincidentally, it's going to have your deep passes is going to have to start from the backfield.
Yeah, Kyle Pitts has got to finally come to the party, and be a difference maker at tight end. We saw Mike Gesicki last week for the Bengals be really good. And as much as I love the Chiefs defense, I just think their secondary is so good. And if you think that you're just going to throw it to your wideouts consistently, good luck. You got to work the middle of the field on these backers, and your tight end's got to be the guy. Also, I would screen the absolute heck out of this football team. Multiple kinds of screens. Your traditional dropbacks, I play action screen them, I perimeter screen them. And the last thing I'd say is this. We know that the left tackle in Kansas City is an issue right now. Matthew Judon, you were acquired for this type of game. Judon has the chance to be a game wrecker at that left tackle or over that left tackle.
All right, let's see our game picks. And I'm just going to say, if this goes how I think it might go, I'm changing my pick. Yep, I'm changing my pick. I'm going with the Falcons. So whatever you see on the screen, that's not right. I'm sorry. I didn't get my pick in time, so that's my bad. I'm here in Baton Rouge. I got really distracted talking about Marcus and RC, and I forgot to change my pick, but now it's changed. So here we go. Yeah, Baton Rouge is standing up.
The last time you made a last-second pick or change to the Falcons, you actually were right.
I know. So that's why I'm doing it. This is like a win-win for all of us.